Hey, welcome back to Yoga Below the Belt, where every posture is cute, keeping the health of the pelvic floor in mind. I'm Tracy, and today's class will be entirely on the floor. We will start seated and we will transition straight into the back, and it's going to be really yummy. All right, you will want to grab 2 blocks, a strap or a towel. If you don't have a strap, hand towel will work fine. And definitely grab something to sit on to make sure you're in front of the sits bones. So a pillow, a blanket, whatever works. Pause the video, grab your gear, and we'll get started. All right, let's start as always with a little bit of grounding today. I invite you to find a comfortable seat on the floor. Adjust your booty if you need to make sure you're in front of those nice sits bones. Spine's nice and tall, shoulders are back and down. And you can close your eyes and focus on the sound of the breath. Pay attention to where the body's making contact with the floor. Feel the heat that's building there. And feel that heat and energy start spreading upward into the pelvic floor, into the spine. Deepen your breath even further. Make sure as you're inhaling, the chest is rising. As you're inhaling, the rib cage is expanding. And as you're inhaling, your belly's filling with air all the way down to the pelvic floor. Take a quick moment to recognize how you feel today. Notice any areas that are tight, need a little bit of love as you stretch today. And I invite you to bring your palms together, heart center. Set an intention for your practice today. Make a goal as you open your eyes. And I welcome you to practice today. I'm so excited. This is going to be a really fun class. All right, let's jump right into it. Remember, if you're practicing Ujjayi breath, you are breathing in and out through the nose, constricting the back of the throat, making that nice ocean sound. And with or without Ujjayi, it's super important to make sure you're moving the belly with the breath. So every inhale, you're expanding down into the pelvic floor, and every exhale, you're rising up. All right, first posture today. Let's sit in front of the sits bones and extend the legs forward, directly in front of the hips. Now, if you can straighten your legs completely, that's wonderful. Just make sure the back doesn't roll as a result of that. So I'm in front of the sits bones, tailbone's pulling slightly back. My knees are bent because I have very tight hamstrings, and that's okay. Toes point toward the face. And all we're going to do for the next 6 breaths is sit nice and tall through the spine with the arms at the sides. Now, depending on the length of your arms, this may not be the most comfortable for your body. So I would invite you to grab your blocks to help give you support. The key here, you're in front of the sits bones. The spine is nice and elongated, nice and tall. Tailbone slightly pulled back because you're in front of the sits bones, and the legs are extended out in front of you. All right, let's jump right into this. Find a comfortable seat, nice and tall, and we'll start with our 6 breathing. Let's take one more deep breath together, nice and tall through the spine. Fill the belly. Nice long exhale. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to bend the left knee and extend the right leg directly in front of the hip. So we're still in front of the sits bones, and if you find as you're in this position, the knee's pretty far off the ground, don't worry about it, that's fine. But I would recommend you grab a block or maybe a rolled up towel even to give some support, because you don't want to focus on the knee, you want to focus on this inner hip on the right and the hamstrings. So find a comfortable seat, again, in front of the sits bones, legs directly in front of you. You can either stay here or very gently lean the body forward, but only if you maintain a nice straight spine. So if you're leaning forward and rounding the back, that's not what you want for pelvic floor. We want to be nice and tall. No hand pressure, this is perfect. If you need a little more, of course you have the option of using the strap, putting it around that foot, just to give you a little more support and grip. And bend that right knee as generously as you need to. All right, let's jump into it. Nice deep inhale in front of the sits bones, long spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips, nice straight back to deepen the stretch in the hamstrings. And your toes can point toward your face to deepen the stretch. All right, nice straight spine. Really work on moving the belly with the breath, and we're here for 6 more breaths. Relax the neck and breathe. Let's take one more breath together. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, let's move that right foot out to the right, only as far as comfortable. We'll leave the left leg where it is. If your leg is on the floor, you might find that the motion of moving that right leg out is bringing your knee up. That's normal, don't worry about it. But you might want to grab a block at that point so that you're not straining too much on that left knee. All right, with or without the strap, you can support that right foot. Right toes come toward the face. And what we'll do is to increase the stretch on this inner groin and the inner right leg is we will inhale nice and tall through the spine. And when you hinge at the hips, you're coming forward. You're not coming over the right leg. All right, let's get into it together. Nice and tall with or without the strap. Nice big inhale. And exhale, hinge at the hips, bringing the hips and the upper body forward. Nice straight spine, just to deepen that stretch. And again, bend the knee as generously as you need to. Relax the neck, deepen the breath, and we're here for 6 more. Let's take one more inhale together. Nice long exhale, we'll finish the stretch. Beautiful. And now let's switch legs. So this time the right leg will be bent, the left leg extends out. You have the option of using a strap, but it is definitely an option. You do not have to use it. Block under the right knee if you need. Adjust the body. Make sure you're in front of the sits bones nice and even with the weight so you're not shifting one way or the other. That left foot is directly in front of the left hip. All right, get nice and comfy. Here we go, 6 more breaths. Nice deep inhale, relax the neck. Exhale, keep the extension of that nice straight back as you come forward, hinging at the hips. And we're here for 6 more breaths. Let's take one more inhale. On the exhale, bring the upper body back up. And now we'll move that left leg out only as far as is comfy for you. Again, even weight with the sits bones. Make sure you're sitting in front of them. Use the block on that right leg if you need. All right, hips are pointed forward, tailbone slightly pulling back because you're in front of the sits bones. And when we come forward, we're coming directly forward, same direction as the hips, not over that left leg. So let's point the toes on the left foot, bending the knees generously as you need to. Strap if you need, and we'll inhale nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips, keeping the length in the back. You don't need to go very far. See, I'm only going an inch or two. That's fine. And you should feel a nice deepening of the stretch in the groin and that inner left leg, maybe even the hamstrings and the outer hip. All right, we're here for 6 deep breaths. Let's take one more full breath together. Big inhale, fill that belly. Nice long exhale all the way out. And we'll gently release the body up. And we will come straight into cobbler's pose. So the bottoms of the feet come together. Some people will be able to get their knees on the ground. Not me. Actually, a lot of people won't. So don't worry, that's fine. What you'll do is adjust the feet as close or as far from the body as feels comfortable for you to feel that nice stretch in the inner hip. And then you can use your blocks on either sides of the legs to give you some support. So you're focusing on the stretch here and you're not worried about tension on the knees. And if your legs are all the way up here, no problem. Just adjust your blocks accordingly. Alrighty, again, in front of the sits bones, nice and tall, long back, no arched backs, nice and straight. Let's inhale together and exhale, hinge forward only as far as you need to feel a deepening of the stretch. Nice straight spine for everybody. Relax the neck, relax the chin down, and you guessed it, we're here for 6 more deep Ujjayi breaths. Let's take one more breath here. Nice deep inhale, fill that belly. And on the exhale, we'll release up. And we'll do a twist before we transition to the back. So I invite you to extend the left leg forward directly in front of the hip. You're still in front of the sits bones. And that right leg crosses over the left. Now, if this is too much for you, you have the option of crossing that left leg back. And that's fine too. Sometimes that can release some of the tension. And if that's too much, you can actually just keep the foot here instead of crossing over. So whatever works best for your body is fine. But if you're finding you're rolling your booty, if you're not in front of the sits bones anymore, like I am at the moment, you might consider folding your blanket or your towel, whatever you're sitting on, make it a little bit taller, so that it really forces the hips forward. So for me, this is a better option today. Yesterday I was on the floor. It doesn't matter. Every day is different. So again, the left leg's extended, bent if it needs to be. Right leg crosses over. Now what we'll do, I'll demonstrate first. We'll open up the chest by raising the left arm up and out. We'll keep the length in the spine as we wrap that left arm around, palm up. And with the hips pointed forward, still even with the sits bones, we'll twist just the upper body to the right. Now, some people, depends on the length of your arms and how tall your prop is that you're sitting on, you may find that when the arm comes down, you're collapsing the chest. In that case, grab a block, set it behind you and rest the hand on the block, and that will keep your shoulders even and parallel with the floor. All right, let's get into it together. Right leg over the left. Nice deep inhale. Arm extends. On the exhale, we'll bring that left arm around the right knee, palms up, and we're twisting just the upper body. The hips stay nice and even, facing forward. Okay, let's deepen our breath. We're here for 6 more counts. Let's do one more inhale. On the exhale, bring the upper body forward and we will switch legs. So now the right leg's extended or crossed in front of you. Left leg is next to the right or crosses over. Adjust your blocks if you need one behind you on the left. All right, let's get into it. In front of the sits bones, nice tall spine. Let's inhale straight back. Right arm extends out, opening up the chest. And the exhale, the right arm wraps around that left knee, palm up, hips forward, and we'll twist the upper body, just the upper body, to the left. Relax the neck, nice tall spine, and we're here for 6 more breaths. Let's take one more deep inhale. And on the exhale, we'll bring the upper body forward. And we are finished with the seated portion of the class, which is awesome. And I invite you to rotate so you're flat on the back. We do not need the strap any longer, but you will definitely want to keep your blocks nearby. So come down on the ground in whatever method works for you so that you're comfortable. And you're going to want a little space. And the first posture we're going to do on the floor will be dead bug. I know, really fancy name, right? So come flat on the back, adjust your bottom so that the sacrum's flat on the floor. And if you notice your rib cage is popping up and there's a lot of space under the back, grab a blanket or a pillow, put it under the head so that the rib cage drops slightly, and you'll be in a more neutral position for the spine. For me today, I don't need a pillow or a blanket behind the head, but yesterday I definitely did. So don't be surprised if day to day your body's different. That's normal. So let's rotate the hips a few times or shift the pelvis so that you feel that center point of the sacrum. And we're also warming up the hips, warming up the pelvic floor. Nice little stretch. All right, let's find that center point of the sacrum, and that is where you will be staying. All righty, the feet are both flat on the floor, hip distance apart. Knees are going to be pointed to the ceiling, and we want access to the arms. So the way this will work, without shifting from side to side, we're going to be even with the hips. We'll extend the left leg and the right arm. And I don't have a lot of space. Hopefully you have a little more room than I do. But if not, you can work on just bringing the elbow up. That's fine too. So it's like the left leg and the right arm are tied. We will inhale, and the exhales when we're having the motion. And we'll inhale the leg and the hand back, and then we'll switch sides. So we're exhaling out, inhaling back. So as you're doing this, nice deep belly breaths, sacrum stays flat on the floor, and the hips don't wobble around. All right, let's work on dead bug, kind of the opposite of bird dog. We didn't want to kneel today, so we're doing great. All right, let's begin. We'll do 6 full sets, alternating legs. So left leg, right leg will be 1 set. So 12 breaths. Just do your best. It's going to be fun. Adjust the feet. Let's inhale together. Nice big belly breath, hands at the sides. Exhale, extend that left foot, pointing the left toes. Right arm comes out and up. And then we come back to center. And exhale the right leg out, left arm up. And back to center. We have 5 more sets with your own breath pace. And let's even it out. When you're finished, we'll give everyone a moment watching the video to catch up. Just hold still, legs and arms on the ground. Wonderful. All right, next up we'll do half butterfly. So I invite you to put the feet together, and we will inhale with the feet together, sacrum still flat on the floor. The exhale, the left leg will drop down, and the inhale, the leg will come up. Now you're only going as far as you can while maintaining the hips in parallel to the floor, sacrum's flat. So if you find that as that leg drops, your right booty is coming off the ground, that's not what you want. So in that case, you can put a blank. You can put a block on the left side of the body. Bring that left leg down until it touches the block. And then when you start the cycle of breath again, you come back up. So find what adjustment works for you. We're only working on the left side first, and then we'll switch over to the right. All right, here we go. Nice deep inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, the left leg drops. Inhale, it comes back up, and that right knee's not moving. You have 5 more sets, your own pace. Let's do 1 more set, dropping that left knee down. And then we raise it back up. Now eventually, when you have really good balance and this becomes pretty easy for you, you can have the left arm up, and it's as if you're a marionette and your left knee is going to move the same time as that left arm. But that's a little intense for what we were going for today. Just know in the future, whenever you see me cueing this posture, this is another option for you. And we're all getting stronger. All right, let's move the block to the right side of the body and we will even things out. All right, the legs come together. Nice deep inhale to start, filling the belly all the way to the pelvic floor. And on the exhale, we can drop that right leg down. And we come right back up. And if you need to reverse the breath, that's fine. And you can exhale coming up if you need to. All right, let's stay here for 6 more breaths. Let's do one more set together. The right leg comes down. And all the way back up. And apologies if you hear my stomach growling. Apparently breakfast wasn't big enough today. All right, we'll give everyone a second just to catch up. If you need, you can hug the knees toward the chest. Release some of the tension in the back. And we're doing something a little different next. We will do a raised butterfly. So if you want, you can grab a block and set your sacrum on top of the block, not the spine, just the sacrum, to help change the angle of the back. Now, if you're comfortable on the floor without the block, that's fine. It's just for me and for a lot of my regular students on the weekends, we find the blocks a little more comfortable. So I would invite you to bring both legs up. We're going to bring the feet together and down towards your belly, and then we'll come back up. So this is your first option, giving you lots of motion, making sure you're nice and flat on the sacrum. All right, your other option is to come straight out without dropping the heels. So the knees are coming out, nice little butterfly. The bottoms of the feet are coming together and back to center. And your third option, if you need a little more, is to separate the feet completely, bringing the legs out. So this isn't really a butterfly, I guess, but it changes the dynamic of the stretch, and it's a little more for the inner thigh. Maybe even the back as well. So find what works best for you, and we will do 6 sets with motion. And you can find what works best for you for the breath. For me, I think it's best to have the inhale with the legs together and the exhale, the legs coming out. So play with it for a minute before we start in. See what posture is going to work best for you. Adjust the block with or without the block. See what works best for your body. Just make sure that you're not rolling your bottom up. You want to bring the tailbone back so the sacrum's nice and flat, and that will give you a neutral pelvis. All right, let's do 6. We'll inhale to start and exhale, move the legs. Nice slow motions, deep breaths. And let's do 6 more at your own speed. We'll do one more together. Nice deep inhale. We'll exhale, moving the legs. Inhale back to center. And on the exhale, let's hug the knees slightly toward the chest. Release a little tension. And we'll bring the feet back on the floor. Alrighty, let's work on toe taps or maybe a modified toe tap. So your first option is to stay here, sacrum's flat, either on a block or straight on the floor. And we will lift the left leg, pointing the toe, and bring the leg down. And then we'll switch to the other side. So these aren't really toe taps, they're more toe raises, but this is your first option. And it's super good for the pelvic floor. Your next option is to raise one leg at a time to start, come into a center point, and then drop from here. And this is going to increase the work on your core. And if the pelvis is in the right position, you should be okay with the pelvic floor if you're working on strengthening. So pelvic floor as well as core. And your other option would be, oh, we'll stop there. We'll just do toe taps and we'll do leg extensions next. So you're either starting with the feet flat on the ground, or you're starting with the feet at 90 degrees. Or if you really, really want more intensity, you could also start with the legs straight up and then bring them down. I do not recommend doing 2 legs down at a time because it's a lot of load on the pelvic floor, and that's not what we want in this class. So pick your poison, find what works for you, and we'll do 6 full sets, making sure we're rotating legs. So left leg down, right leg down would be 1 set. All right, nice and slow with the breath. Don't forget to move the belly. It'll be really obvious with the inhale that the belly's rising here, which is what you want. So find your starting point. If you're down on the ground, you'll inhale with the feet here, exhale with the raise, and back down. Inhale, exhale, and inhale down. And if you're starting up, you're inhaling, exhaling, coming down, inhaling up, and then the opposite. So everyone, let's start with a nice deep inhale. Gazes at the ceiling. Make sure you're tucking the shoulder blades under so the shoulders are nice and level. And check, as always, check with the pelvic floor. It's in neutral when your sacrum is nice and flat. All right, here we go. Nice deep inhale. And let's start our 6 sets. And if it's ever too much, switch to an easier option or just come out of it. Here we go. Let's do 6 more. And make sure you're moving the whole hip, not just the lower leg. Let's even it out. And if you're on a block, I invite you to come off of the block. We'll let everyone catch up. Extend both legs out into a quick Shavasana just to make sure there's no tension in the legs. Maintain the nice deep breaths. You're doing great today. All right, let's bring both feet back to the floor, nice and flat. Adjust your booty if you need to make sure the sacrum's nice and flat. And you can be on a block or off, whatever's comfortable for you today. I'm going to switch it up a little and stay on the floor. All right, next set we'll do leg extensions. So your first option is to start with the legs up, and then we'll extend out one at a time. You can also start in center and extend outward. And if that's too much, I would have you extend by starting with both feet flat on the floor and just extending one at a time. So keys here, the sacrum stays nice and flat to make sure you're in a neutral position of the pelvis. If it's too much load on the core, you're going to drop further down. Because the legs up in the air, it can be a lot. So do what works for your body, don't overdo it. And you may find that if you use the block on the sacrum, it'll give you a different starting point and it'll change a little bit with the muscles of the core. So just find what works for you. Let's play here for a few seconds before we start our breathing, just to find what option is working best for your body today. Super important as you're trying this out, make sure you never, ever, ever hold your breath in this class, and you will be tempted to do that in this posture. So if you're holding your breath, stop, readjust, go to an easier option, and then you'll keep your pelvic floor safe. All right, choose what's best for your body today. Again, the shoulder blades tuck underneath. You're going to raise the legs or start with the legs down, and we'll do 6 sets just like we did with toe taps. Only this time they're extensions. And when you come with the knees, if you're starting up, try and keep roughly 90 degrees. You don't want to be all the way down at your chest. All right, here we go. Nice deep inhale to start. And on the exhale, we'll extend the left leg. Inhale, release. And exhale, extend the right leg. And inhale, release. We have 6 full sets. Here we go, your own breath pace. And let's even it out. Release the legs down. Remove the block if you've been using one. And we can hug the knees to the heart. Maybe even come into a happy baby. Or switch between the two. And this is not a formal posture. We're just releasing some of the tension in the back. That posture can be kind of intense. All right, now let's put both legs flat on the floor. Sacrum's nice and flat. You can still use the block under the sacrum if you want to. And this will seem a lot easier than the last posture. So what we're going to do is start with the feet flat on the floor, knees are hip distance apart, and we will glide that left heel outward, making sure the hip is still level, pointing the toes toward the face and squeezing your left butt cheek as soon as that leg is extended, and we'll immediately come back up. So we're inhaling, we're extending the other leg, pointing the toes toward the face, squeezing that right glute, and then we inhale back up. Super good for the pelvic floor, great for the booty. So I want you to be very mindful of the hips. So the sacrum is in a nice flat position. The shoulders are nice and flat on the floor, and you're not arching your back, just the same as all the other postures. All right, hands either on the belly or at the sides, or if you want a little bit more, as you're extending and squeezing that glute, you can also be raising that right hand. Now I know we did dead bug earlier, but this is a little different because you're focusing on squeezing the booty. All right, let's get to it. 6 full sets with your own breath pace. We'll start together with an inhale. Exhale, left leg, squeeze that glute. We inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, that left leg glides along the floor, squeeze your booty. And inhale, release. All right, let's do 5 more, your own breath pace. Let's make sure we even it out. We'll come back to center, give everyone a few seconds to catch back up. And our last posture before our final relaxation will be cobbler's pose, reclined cobblers. So I invite you to zip the legs up together, feet, knees, inner thighs. Make sure you have blocks set up on either sides of the knees. And we will rest both legs out, supported on the blocks. Adjust your body however you need to. Make sure the sacrum's flat on the floor so you're not rotating the bottom down too far. And if you are, you can correct for that by adjusting the height of the blocks. So find a comfortable position. Make sure you're continuing the deep breathing, really focusing on relaxing the pelvic floor. And we're here for 6 more deep breaths. Relax the shoulders, and we'll start our breathing now. Let's take one more breath together. Deep inhale. Long exhale. One more inhale. And on the exhale, use your fingers to help guide the legs back together. We'll extend both legs out as we move into our final relaxation of Shavasana. So I invite you to rest the body, tuck the shoulder blades underneath you, drop out of Ujjayi breath, substitute just normal deep breathing. And if this is too much for your back, you can always put pillows or a bolster or blankets, roll them up and put them under your knees to change the position of the legs with respect to your back. And that can give you a lot of relief if you're having low back pain. If you're okay stretching out completely, I would invite you to let the legs fall out. Let the arms rest at your sides. And close your eyes to focus on your breath. Take a moment to check in with the body, see how you're feeling. We did a lot of work on the legs and the core today. So let's focus on nice deep breaths. And with the next exhale, relax the left leg into the floor. Nice deep breath. And exhale, relax the right leg into the floor. Continue your deep breathing. Feel the pelvic floor relax. Feel the low back relax. Feel the belly rise on the inhale. And drop down toward the back, toward the floor on your exhale. Take a moment to recognize how you feel in the ribs and the back and the shoulders. Inhale, expanding the rib cage. And exhale, relax the rib cage down. Inhale deeply. And relax the hands on the left. Relax the left elbow. Relax the left shoulder. Focus the attention on the right side of the body, relaxing the right hand down. Relax the right elbow. Relax the right shoulder. Feel the space that's your clavicle, the top of the chest. Feel it rise up on the next inhale. And relax down on the exhale. Relax the neck. Relax the jaw. Relax the tension on the eyes and the forehead. And stay here, feeling the body relax downward toward the floor. Relax the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of the feet. And we'll stay here breathing, relaxing, focusing on the muscles of your own body for a few more breaths in silence. When you're ready, I invite you to bring motion to the body. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. Shift the head very gently from one side to the other. Bring the feet together on the floor and rotate to the side in a fetal position. And then press yourself all the way up to seated. At the end of our class today, let's focus just a little bit on breathing before we close. And we will take 4 deep breaths. Ujjayi breath, just to help release any last tension in the body. All right, 4 deep breaths, the deepest breaths of your day. Nice deep inhale, fill the belly. Long exhale. You have 3 more at your own pace. That's it for our class today. I hope your core feels really strong and your back feels strong, the legs feel strong, your whole body. Thanks for coming and for welcoming me in on your journey to help improve your fitness while you're living with pelvic floor concerns. I really appreciate it, and I hope you loved the class. I'll see you again next time. Be well. Namaste.